We're standing by a dock. You've got a rod propped up beside you. What are you fishing for?
Carp, of which there are quite a few in here, but very hard to catch, so quite elusive.
And what's the nature of a carp? Is it a crafty fish? Is it a docile fish?
It's wise and docile. Well, they're not predators, but they will eat meat, but not chase after it, sort of thing. If it's there, like a bit of luncheon meat or whatever, a bit of crayfish, they'll go for it.
Crayfish?
Yeah.
So somehow I connect crayfish with the sea, but maybe I'm just mistaken.
Brine as well, briny water. So, a little bit of salt in it, which you're going to get because you've got the Thames just there. A little bit's going to come into here, but yeah, you get crayfish. You start fishing on the bottom here and your bait's at the bottom. You leave it out there for 2 or 3 hours, you come back and it's been nibbled by the crayfish.
So you can actually leave your line out for a long time.
Yeah. We don't. We're what's called surface fishing at the moment. With this summer and it's warm now, the carp come to the top where it's warmer, bit of oxygen. So we just cast out and their stuff's all on the top of the water. But come winter, they'll go down. Well, autumn, winter, they'll go down to where it's a bit warmer. And when you fish off the bottom, basically just cast out, put your bait down, however you want to present it, hook it up, cast it out, put it on your alarm.
So there's a lot of thinking time.
A hell of a lot of thinking time. Yeah, mostly it's thinking, where's the bloody fish?
But that must be one of the draws for you.
Yeah.
Is the contemplative life of the fisherman.
It's totally random. Like, you can fish every day of your life and not catch anything. Or you come here on your first day and catch like 10. Sometimes there's no rhyme nor reason. It's not. Sometimes the fish will do a little route around. They'll come in really close, so you fish really close, and then they move out. So it's quite the luck of the draw sometimes.
And the way you're speaking about it, Steve, you're speaking about it with knowledge. Is this knowledge that you just gained over the time, or is this knowledge that you've read in books or watched on YouTube?
I kind of gained it. Yeah. I did take a long break from fishing, but I fished from like 8 years old up until about 30.
So this is a lifelong thing.
Yeah. Then I stopped for like 20 years, and I came back fishing again.
What was the break for?
Life. So I went around the world.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So I went touring. Did a roadie job for Motorhead for a year back in the day.
Amazing.
So,
Motorhead, the rock band.
Yeah, as in Lemmy, Ace of Spades.
Oh my goodness.
Went around with them, and then I was in America. Well, I was working at a place in Farringdon, and we designed the software for MIDI racks and synthesizers and things like that. So sample machines, drum machines, synthesizers, samplers, and all that. So
you're not just a roadie, you're a techie, because you know your way around
by nature,
electronic stuff.
I'm a programmer. I'm a C programmer. So
right.
not anymore. I'm retired, but yeah. So the place in Farringdon, they got bought out by a company based in New York, and they said to the company, "We've got 3 positions opened in New York. If any of your guys want it." And I was like, I'm recently divorced, yeah, I'll take that. So I went to New York and then got sponsorship for citizenship, which didn't work out because it only lasted about another 2 years, and they got bought out by another company which was based in San Francisco. So I went over to there.
So you went west?
Yep.
Oh blimey, you've travelled the world, haven't you?
I've been around a bit, yeah. I just don't like, sometimes I get itchy feet and just think I need to wander. So which I think is where the fishing comes in. You go to different places, you go down the rivers, you wander, and you try these different places, see what it's like. And then after that, the whole company just folded. I had cousins in Alaska, so I went to Alaska for nearly about 5.5 years.
Oh my goodness!
And of all the places for the authorities to catch up with me is Alaska, where people go to get away from things.
Right.
But we're based in Anchorage, so yeah, it's good fun.
So Anchorage, I know the song by who's it? Anchorage, Alaska. What's the name of her? I can't remember her name.
I forgot who's now. Yeah, I know the name.
It's a female singer-songwriter. When you say the authorities catching up with you, what did that end your travels?
That ended my being allowed legally in the country because I was being sponsored. Right. So the visa ran out, but because I was being sponsored, it's only like 5 years. I think it's 3 or 5 years to become a citizen, and then they have to prove that I'm needed there as opposed to getting a local to do my job.
And was it a knock on the door, or right, you're coming with us, or was it a very gradual legal process with letters and
gradual, but it wasn't instant. It was more of a send you a letter. You're not meant to be in this country. If you don't leave within a certain amount of time, then you will be arrested and deported. And I thought to myself, you know what? It's been sort of like 2.5 years away from my homeland. Time to go back. I could have got citizenship if my cousins employed me, but it didn't. Obviously it didn't happen, so because I'm here.
So, can you remember landing in New York? Can you remember the first impressions of walking out into New York?
Well, we landed at Newark, the airport. I mean, my first impressions of that was, flipping hell, it's hot. It was really humid. All I thought really was, it's a bigger, taller, noisier London.
Oh, that's interesting. So it didn't actually feel massively different?
Nah, because if you go into like the West End or even Canary Wharf, it feels like Manhattan, just not Manhattan, basically. You've got the big high-rise buildings, big wide sidewalks, pavements, big roads, and, it felt like Manhattan. So,
did it feel comfortable? Did it feel like, I can do this?
Yeah, I didn't feel out of place. So
it was welcoming?
Yeah. I did get mugged on the first night.
Oh, but, blimey, that's not very nice.
Yeah, so you walk down the wrong street and you don't really know where you are coming back from the gig, and next thing you know, you get whacked round the back of the head. So,
ouch.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, what hit me, but it was hard, and might have been a gun. Who knows? But doesn't. Really...
See, a lot of people would have had that on their first night and thought, right, I'm packing up. That's it.
Nah, to me, it's like you learnt your lesson there. Don't go down dark streets where you don't know where you're going. So, it's a life lesson, isn't it? So just be aware of what's around you, where you're going. Don't look like a tourist, etc.
The fact that you were going to a gig on your first night, linking to being a roadie for Motorhead, you like gigs, you like live music, you were straight in there.
Yep.
I want to do the night scene, I want to hear the tunes, I want to hear the musicians, because I've heard that New York has got an incredible level of live music.
Yeah. I love heavy metal, classic rock, heavy metal. I love all that. But when I was in New York, you think, when in Rome, I go to a jazz club or something, just to see what they like. Because you hear all these films with jazz clubs, and it's got a romance to it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So I just thought, okay, jazz club. So I did a load of beatniks and a load of hippies and a couple of jazz musicians making a racket. But it was a good night out.
Making a racket. Said like a true rock lover. How funny. Because they would say the same about you.
Exactly,
your type of music.
I'm pretty sure every generation says that about the previous generation, doesn't it? Can't listen to that racket. What are you talking about?
And talking of racket, Motorhead, being a roadie for Motorhead sounds really exciting, but also quite exotic. It must have been a massive thrill to start with. I mean, how did you start?
It's always good fun because you're going to different places quite regularly. You might play a couple of nights in one town, then you move over to you go state by state. Sometimes, unless they do the festival, right?
And you're talking about in America, so you weren't a roadie here in the UK.
No. I think we did one at, where was it? I think it was Brixton Apollo. We did one. And then that was the end of the UK leg or the Europe leg, and they went over to America. So yeah.
And how did you get the gig?
Working in a studio. I was a techie, and I knew a couple of their roadies already, so I was good friends with them. Go down to the pub and stuff, and then the opportunity arose, basically.
Is that, in your experience of life, is that how work happens? You meet someone, you chat to someone. It's not about sending off applications.
I've never applied for a job. Never worn a suit. I've worn a suit twice for 2 funerals. That's it. I've never applied for a job. I think you've sometimes you've got to be positive, and positive things happen. I'm not really a true believer in karma and anything spiritual, but I do think that if you do your job well, people will notice it, and good things come out of it.
What is doing your job well as a roadie? What makes a good roadie?
Got to be a bit fitter.
You've got to be
quite fit.
Right.
So there's a lot of physical stuff about. Yeah. What makes you a good roadie? I think it's just like your sense of humour, character. You've got to be, because they're all not really tough, but they do drink a lot. Because you're going to a gig, you're setting it up, waiting for the gig to finish, you take it all apart, put it on the truck, and then it's like, let's go for a drink. So you've got to be I wouldn't say tough because it makes you sound a bit of a twat. It does. I'm not a tough guy. Look at me. I'm all fat. But it's like any other job, isn't it? Really, just if you're a builder or you're a scaffolder, you're pretty much doing the same thing, every day. So it's just that you're doing it in a venue.
And I imagine when you're working with a band for a while, you said 2 years.
1 year.
One year.
Yeah.
There stops being a division between the band and the roadie. If you're all together all the time, it's kind of, you're all doing
family.
the same thing.
It's a family. Yeah, definitely it's a family. The first maybe month, you've got to prove yourself, not to be a slacker, not to be don't take the micky, things like that. And after that, you're pretty much embraced. And you can, at first glance at them, you just think, I'm never going to be friends with these. They're just not my kind of people. Like, they're older, they're taking stuff they shouldn't take, as you do. And I just thought, I'm not going to be able to handle this. But after the first month, it's fine. Yeah,
I can imagine it also kind of becomes a bit addictive. That kind of Rolling Stone life. You're always on the move.
Weird. There's a song called "The Drugs Don't Help," or one of them.
Drugs don't work.
They do. So alcohol and speed, basically, which is slang. Motorhead is slang for speed.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he got chucked out of Hawkwind, didn't he? Because he's a speed freak.
And they are so. I mean, they're legendary, Motorhead. Being part of that brand, being connected to them, must be kind of a thrill in itself too, because it's basically something that everyone loves. You're doing something, and people are coming to gigs.
You can't do it as a job.
Say again?
You can't treat it as a job, because then it becomes a chore. Because you are doing the same thing every day.
So what was your mindset?
It's more of a can't wait to see the gig. Basically, even though it's the same tour, near enough the same set every night. It was, you're on the side, you're watching everyone running around, checking out the mics, getting the cables out of the way so you don't go arse over elbow. It was good fun. And after this will be a massive party. So
sounds like a great life.
It is a great life, but it's also it can kill you, because you are sleep deprived, especially with a band like that. You're going to do your job. You've got to be up early, you're going to bed late, you're partying, and you're up early again. So, maybe for a couple of months you're only getting like 3 hours of sleep a night. So it can drive you around a bend, if you don't control yourself. But, I know a couple of friends have died on the road.
Oh, that's so sorry to hear. That's difficult.
Indeed, but it's to be expected. I know that sounds quite grim. I don't want to put anyone off for being a roadie. Obviously, if you're a roadie for ABBA or something, it's a bit different. But you get a bottle of Perrier or something every night.
What made you get off that train of being a roadie? You said you then worked in America in different jobs. So you decided to just leave.
Basically, no, the tour ended after
Okay.
So I did like the last bit of it,
Right.
Which was America. They'd done all of Europe and Asia, doing the last bit in America. And I got a year's leave from where I worked in Farringdon, and then from there.
So it's basically a sabbatical. What you were doing, you were basically saying, I'm going to take leave, do this completely other job.
Yeah, I was encouraged to do it, to be honest.
Brilliant.
My boss, he'd been a music engineer all his life. The studio was his. He said, "You're never going to get a chance like this again."
I've always thought that we should all do a different job for a week or a month a year, just to mix it up. Something completely different.
It grounds you.
Yeah.
It will ground you, because you don't realise that. I'm probably guessing that even sitting behind a desk 9 to 5 is quite hard, because I just fall asleep all the time. I'm not that kind of person. But again, who am I to judge someone else's job if it's hard or not? I'm working with numbers and things like that, doing loads of calculations. Don't like the politics, what you generally hear of.
But you do like teamwork.
I do like teamwork.
And kind of office work is it's not really about sitting at a desk, it's kind of sitting in a team, isn't it?
It could be, yeah, but again, sometimes politics gets in the way.
Yeah.
Someone wants to get higher up the ladder, or I don't know. It just didn't agree. It didn't click with me working in an office. I think I survived like 2 days. and I just thought, no, this isn't for me.
It sounds like you've been able to do something which many people aspire to, which is keep your horizons broad, keep the doors open, and actually make decisions that fit you. It doesn't sound like you've ever had to fit into a box. You've always managed to just like, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to take this risk.
Yeah, but there's also the bad side of that is I make that decision without a care for anyone else connected to me, loved ones, what have you. It's just like, I'm just going to do it. It's like, which isn't a good thing. You should always think.
So is it kind of impulsiveness?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. But, looking back on it, I think I made the right choices. I'm retired, I'm 55 years old, I've retired, and I'm fishing on a sunny day. What more could you ask for? Well, apart from catching a fish, obviously.
That's the ultimate today.
Yep.
And I'm just thinking about the thrill of catching a fish versus hard drinking and drug taking and Motorhead gigs. They're two different kinds of thrills, but you'll get as much of a thrill about...
I get more out of this than I did doing that. Purely because, like the way we fish, with my buddy here, we fish on the surface, so you're looking for the fish. You're scouring the water, looking for the fish, cast near it, and you can see it getting closer and closer. Is it going to bite? Is it going to bite? The anticipation. If it don't, it's try again. So whereas you don't. It's the randomness of it I quite like.
So no. I think people who don't fish think it must be the same every time. Why do you do something which is rinse and repeat?
Yeah,
but you're saying it's not that
job. It's rinse and repeat, isn't it? You obviously get paid for it. This is a hobby. But what do most people do nowadays? They just sit at home and watch YouTube.
Yeah, they're either on a small screen, which is their phone, or a medium screen, which is their TV, or a big screen, which is like a big cinema TV thing.
Exactly, yeah.
We're all on screens all the time.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Your podcast is to be, available on the internet and stuff like that, isn't it? So,
well, in a way, the point, it is. Yeah. It is. The point of the podcast is to drop into other people's lives for half an hour and just experience somebody else's life.
Yeah.
And it's not visual, it's purposely just audio, because I think you think more when you're listening.
And also, I think if you see people, you kind of judge them.
You totally judge them.
Yeah.
We all do it.
And
you see somebody and immediately make a photo.
They have no idea what I look like.
Yep.
So they can't really judge me.
Yeah.
So maybe they can judge me on the drug taking back in the days, but I don't do it anymore. So it is what it is.
The retirement that you talked about, is this something that you've been able to do to give yourself freedom because you've managed your finances and managed your work in such a way that actually you're comfortable enough to do it?
This is going to be quite heavy. I'm married. My wife got cancer last year. So
sorry to hear that.
Colon cancer. All the chemo, I ended up becoming her carer because the chemo just destroyed her. Basically, she's getting better now. But I had to become a full-time carer, so I couldn't work, blah, blah, blah. And then in April, she got the all clear. So, yes.
Brilliant.
This is the nasty part. March the 1st, her son died. 28 years old, cardiac arrest.
Oh, gosh.
So
that is a tragedy.
That's a tragedy, isn't it? It's a rough year, or a rough couple of years, but...
That's a lot going on.
Yeah, so that's why basically I don't work anymore. It's not that I don't want to work. Sometimes I quite enjoy work, meeting different people, getting away from the home. Which is why I go fishing. If you're stuck in home all day, you get cabin fever. It'll drive you mental, wouldn't it?
So did you make it? So you became a carer, and you've made a choice not to do a 9 to 5 because of your family, because of what's going on.
Yep.
Like, this is more important than making money.
Than making money for someone else. I couldn't. She could hardly lift up a cup, because of the chemo. So you can't sit at home and not have a cup of tea. So it had to be done. I think, and I hope that everyone would do the same thing. If you've got a high-flying job in Canary Wharf, it don't matter at all. It's the health of your family that matters. And your close ones around you, your buddies, your mates, your neighbours. That's what matters.
Something that friends of mine who've had cancer or had relations that had cancer have said to me is that it's like a blizzard of information. You don't really know what's going on when you go into it, and you're being asked to make choices, and it's really difficult to make those choices because it's a stressful situation and you don't know what's the right choice.
Exactly.
Was that your experience?
Yeah. We had to go to Bart's for the chemo treatment.
Bart's the hospital.
They were brilliant. They explained everything, and they put our mind to ease. It was a bit miserable going there because you see other people with worse forms of cancer, and like you're sitting there for 8 hours getting a chemo treatment. You just think people are here every day, 12 hours, getting this treatment. Where she was there once a week, and that was like, I think it was like a 13-hour sitting each time. Because the first lot of chemo they gave her was too much, and you're not meant to touch cold stuff when you're getting chemo, so no ice cream, no cold drinks.
Okay.
It tricks the throat.
Oh, I see. Right.
So you wanted to go to the toilet. This is how bad it is. You went to go to the toilet, come out the toilet, grab the door handle, what was metal, chilled. It affects instantly.
Blimey.
Because you hear it going.
Just a cold door handle
Yeah,
will affect
yeah.
your breathing.
Yeah, just kind of like all constricted, so they like lowered the dose, but made it go longer. So
and all these things you're learning as you go along.
Yeah, exactly, we didn't know about that. So you got home and they said, can I get do you want an ice cream? It's like, you can't have ice cream. It's going to kill you. And it was the middle of winter, and being in the East End, it's quite damp because you've got all this water around here.
Yeah.
And it gets really cold, and that can affect you, breathing in cold air. And it's like every now and again, in the middle of the night, you could do a... And it wasn't snoring, it was throat constricting. It's like, shit, get some tea down.
And you're straight awake and you're...
Get some tea down, yeah. It's like every little noise, you think, oh, is that normal?
So you've been through the ringer. Tell me about how your wife has been through the whole process. Has she kept her head up? Has she been positive, or has it been a bit of a roller coaster?
Obviously, it's been an emotional roller coaster losing her son and stuff. It didn't help. You got the high of being given the all clear to the lowest of the low of losing your son.
Nobody should ever see their child die before them.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not nice, is it? He was autistic, learning disabilities, severe. He needed 24-hour supervision. So,
So did she know that this was coming at some point because
yes,
there's a shorter life expectancy?
Because he had epilepsy, I'm guessing each time he had an epileptic attack fit, it weakens the heart.
Okay,
I think
didn't
it puts
know
a
that.
massive stress on your heart and stuff, or your body, I suppose, and everything. And I think that was just the final one. So, so that was the one. What, luckily, he wouldn't have felt anything. It was an instant off, gone.
Well, that's a mercy.
Yeah. And I'm, in a way, we was on the phone to the medics while they're trying to resuscitate him. Even though my missus said, "Do not resuscitate," I don't think she understands fully what it meant, and she didn't tell him to stop. So it's like, this is what it means, Jane. It means don't even try. And she said, "No, I can't have that." I don't know.
It's an unimaginable scene to be asked to make that decision.
It's quite a shocking question, isn't it? And I don't think you can give a proper answer. But it just hits you and you think, oh, I don't know. And they were there for an hour. So he was, if he had survived it, his brain would have been starved of oxygen for an hour. Been worse off. You can't do it, can you? Just be a vegetable dribbling in a chair. I don't think that's fair. I don't think you should try that long, really. Knowing full well that there's no oxygen getting to the brain. But after an hour they called it. So and it was like, and then phoning people. My missus, it's not my son, it's my stepson. So I had to phone the dad. So I phoned him first. I said paramedics are with him now. We don't know anything. Until we know anything, I'll just keep telling you. I said every time we get told something, I'll tell you. So I'll phone you back. And also the next call was I've got to tell him his son's dead. He's like, ooh, didn't like doing that, but it is what it is, isn't it?
That's a lot. That's a lot to deal with.
Yeah.
Those are big decisions and also big experiences because
it's nasty.
It's beyond your control.
Yeah, and it's an experience I never want to repeat. God knows how they felt, but So yeah, quite an eventful couple of years, I reckon. Gosh,
I can see why the fishing is very much a kind of like a...
Yeah, you look at it and you think, it's nice, isn't it?
You said that you started this aged 8.
Yep.
Was it in this area?
No. This was North London, so kind of like Ponders End, Brimsdown, Enfield Lockway. And we used to go up the River Lee there towards Cheshunt, towards Hertford, into Hertford.
I've heard that part of the River Lee is really nice. It's quite rustic. It feels like the countryside.
Yeah, a bit more greenery around it. I don't think it's as nice anymore. I think the rivers have been so polluted nowadays that there's no bloody fish left in there. We used to ride down on your bike when we were young, and there'd be fishermen every 20
really?
feet. Yeah, every 20
brilliant.
feet, all fishing. Nowadays, you're lucky to see one between Limehouse to, I don't know, to Walthamstow.
And when you were a kid, was it all ages fishing?
Yeah, everyone had that. Bit of cane, a little bit of string with a hook on it. People are still doing that, and they're catching little tiddlers, and they're catching fish.
And was it something that so as a kid, was it something that you did to get away from your family and just have a bit of peace and quiet, or was it just a fun activity?
Bit of both. I think it's like, I don't know. Back in the day, we had a pub called the Isaac Walton, which is our local pub, and that was a fisherman's pub as well.
Oh, really?
It was Isaac Walton.
Lots of tall stories in there, then.
Yeah, and I think like knowing people from there. My uncle fished. My uncle works in the fishing tackle shop in Edmonton. So kind of like, I think it was from that. It's like, I want to go fishing. And I caught my first carp. It was only like that big.
So you remember it? You remember the first one?
Yeah, it was a really small little thing. I don't even think it weighed £1, but that was at Walthamstow Reservoirs. And it's like a proper carp venue. People go there, they'll spend a week fishing.
Do you have to have like a ticket and all that kind of thing?
Yeah. And it's like, caught carp. I was hooked from then.
Literally hooked.
So to speak, yeah. No pun intended. Well, a little bit.
So you started in North London.
Mm-hmm.
You've lived this extraordinary life, America, Alaska. We're now in East London. Is this home for you, or is this somewhere you come to fish?
No, it's just home for me.
This is home.
Yeah, I live in Poplar. So
right, which is just down the way.
Yeah. So it's like 10 minutes on my bike here, 5 minutes to the canals. I can go all the way up. Well, the canal goes all the way up to Ware in Hertfordshire.
So you've got a bike.
Yep.
And on the bike you've got all your gear. It's quite well kitted out. There's a big net. You've got the full stuff.
Yeah, and that's going light.
Oh, really?
You just bring the bare necessities here. It's two. You're not. You've got one rod. Just a couple of bits of spares, a couple of hooks, just in case you lose them.
Is it sometimes good to come out with a really small kit with the bare essentials rather than having 3 rods, loads of lures? Because it just limits you to.
I think with the kind of fishing we're doing, you want to be moving a lot.
Okay.
So you want to go.
So me chatting to you is stopping you moving.
It's all right.
So why the moving? Why not stay in one place?
You want to see where the carp are feeding, because we're not really attracting fish to us. Like if you're fishing at the bottom, you put a load of ground bait down, and that attracts the fish to where you're fishing. This is where you kind of like see them on the surface. They'll swim past and they start.
So you're kind of hunting the fish.
Yeah.
You're trying to find out where they are, but just simply throwing out your line is not going to bring them in.
Get lucky, if they're like a few weeks back, everything was feeding, and you probably could get it. You could throw it out and you get a bite instantly. It's a big carp.
Is there times of year where there's a different kind of? Is there times of year when they feed more? Is there times of year when they feed less?
Summer they feed more. Roundabouts, you've got spawning season, which is generally.
So the spawning season is
July-ish.
Right.
I'm going to say.
And is there laws about not fishing when they're spawning?
Some places, yeah. Normally the fishing year is March the 15th to June the 15th, I think, midnight on each one, so pretty much March the 16th.
Right, got you. So it's, right, okay.
Everyone's waiting there at 11:59.
Oh, is it? Is it seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, funny.
We've had too much and not been able to fish, but I think like quite a few private places now they'll allow you to fish all year round, because they stock the lake themselves and it's privately owned. You have to be a member or a day ticket, but things like this.
So you woke up this morning. Fishing was going to be part of the day.
No.
Oh.
Woke up this morning. I thought, I'm going to sit around today. I've got a day off because the missus has gone to Margate.
Right.
So,
so she's gone to the seaside.
She's gone to the seaside. My buddy there, so I'm going to pop down the basin for a few hours. And I was like, I'll go as well then. I've got nothing else to do. So, yeah. Otherwise, I'd have probably gone up to the canal and just gone.
So it's basically a social thing you're doing today. Hanging out with your mate.
Yeah.
Casting a few lines.
Yeah.
Swapping a few
fish,
tall stories.
fish. If you don't,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And is there a lot? Is it with your particular mate here? Is it one of those old friendships where there can be a lot of silence?
He's actually a new friend. I came down here about 2 months ago, and I was riding past, and they were sitting here, and then one of them said, "Yeah, you're Janie's partner, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I thought, I recognise you. And he going, "I do a lot of work for number 2, which is like 2-3 doors down." I was like, "Oh, Sandra." He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Hello," and we all started talking.
So it was just a chance meeting.
Yeah,
On a
completely
certain
random.
day, and then there was a little connection, and then
That was it.
chat.
Yeah, and he said, "Let's do a little WhatsApp group. If we go down the basin, we'll give you a shout. If you're going down the basin, give us a shout. You know,
Nice.
We'll hook up." So it's
Well,
good.
that gives us all hope that it doesn't matter what age you are, you can still meet your friends.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, I may not socialise them outside of fishing, but you know, when we're all together, it's quite good. It's a good laugh, you know.
And this gives you something to do.
Yep.
Blokes, I always, it's a slight stereotype, but blokes are kind of like doing things while they're chatting.
Yeah, idle hands. And we can't have that with men. We need a shed or something to fiddle stuff, don't we? We need to start putting the nails into bits of wood, and you know, otherwise we cause mischief, don't we? Yep.
So going back to the retirement, if you've retired, we'll talk about idle hands. The devil makes work for idle hands.
Yep.
You've got hopefully a long life ahead of you. Have you got any plans for that? You know, you were talking earlier about being a bit impulsive and making decisions on the hoof. What are your thoughts about what lies ahead?
I haven't really got any, really. All my life is just, I've not really waited for things to happen, but things have happened. I just want to carry on what I'm doing, really. I want a long life for me and the wife. I want to be happy, be comfortable, you know, and enjoy ourselves, you know. I don't stop my wife going out. She doesn't stop me going out. You know, so it's quite good. You know, we come home, have dinner, watch a film, what have you. You know, I think I'm quite comfortable as it is. I quite like to have this for the rest of my life, really. There's not much responsibility at the moment, so it's quite nice. So, yeah, I think I quite like to carry on. Don't change a good thing, do you, sometimes? That's how I see it, you know. I've done my world travelling, I haven't got itchy feet anymore. The missus is quite happy being at home or going out with her buddies. Neither of us drink, so we don't go down a pub or anything. Well, we do, but we just, you know, drink socially and have an orange juice or a Coke. That's about it, really. I'm quite happy.